feel my car going like this. I'm like, that's an earthquake, ain't it? And then all of a sudden protesters come marching with different chants and different signs. And I just felt this wave of energy nonstop of different feelings. I felt angry. I felt fed up. I felt hurt, brokenhearted. I felt happy. I felt relieved. It was so overwhelmingly joyful to see all of the people, you know, coming together, all of these different people. They were not all Black. They were all different races. And here they're coming together, being led by the police. And they're saying, fuck 12. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Can I just tell you? So I've been wanting to be like, I'm not good with crowds. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't like clubs. I don't like concerts like that. Like I fuck with the festivals from time to time, but even that sometimes can get me in I drain my energy. I'm empathic.
Okay.
So I did want to protest though. I said, I do want to be a part of this movement. I have to be a part of this movement. I have to be out there. And a circumstance so had it that I was helping a friend moving their belongings in downtown, right? And especially downtown, there's shit going, like there's military, there's crackheads. Downtown is just it's a crazy, it looks like what Manhattan used to be maybe like in the 80s during the crack era. That's what downtown Los Angeles, plus Skid Row, like from Little Shop of Horrors type of like we fucked up type of shit that is this is California shit. This is Los Angeles shit. Mm-hmm. And I remember thinking to myself in the morning, you know, my homegirl was telling me, another girlfriend of mine was telling me like, you know, I'm going to go to Temple Street or whatever. I'm like, do I really want to go downtown to protest? I'd rather go somewhere else where I feel like it might be a little more peaceful, because the energy of downtown is just like, you see all the stores boarded up. You see all the military tanks there. Every corner there's military posted up. And it's uncomfortable, you know. But this time when I was there, I was like putting my phone out, and one of them smiled at me and said hi, like letting me know, like, I'm not here to murder you. And I'm like, okay, all right, I see you, all right, you know, you smiling, okay. I put that in my story. It was in my IG, so I'm like, all right. And then I was helping my girlfriend, and there's like a loading section that I reversed into like this. So the street is here, okay, and I reversed this way into the loading section. And I'm literally blocking like pedestrians maybe, and like, you know, whatever. But whatever, like that's where I stayed. And then all of a sudden these two police officers are right here on motorcycles, and they're leading this protest. An earthquake happened. So the cops left, right? The motorcycles left. All of a sudden, I feel my car go like this. Mind you, I told you I'm this way in the street, right? So I feel my car going like this. I'm like, that's an earthquake, ain't it? And then all of a sudden protesters come marching moment by moment, piece by piece, with different chants and different signs. And I just felt this wave of energy nonstop of different feelings. I felt angry. I felt fed up. I felt hurt, brokenhearted. I felt happy. I felt relieved. It was so overwhelmingly joyful to see all of the people, you know, coming together, all of these different people. They were not all Black. They were all different races. And here they're coming together, being led by the police. And they're saying, fuck 12. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, but it was just like, because if you're a police officer, like you have to agree that you're like, it's to the point where it's like, if I see a uniform, it's like, fuck you. But I grew up like that anyway. That's how I grew up thinking in New York. You know what I'm saying? Fuck the police. Like that's how it was. But it's like, you know, then you have friends that get into the police unit, and you know, it's like, well, how do you feel? And people got to do what they got to do. So this all stemmed from New York City, huh?
Yo, and not for nothing, even with you know, with that point that you just made, that you have friends that become policemen, and you have, you know, we get to a point in our lives that we know, just like in every race, that in the Latin culture, we have racism. You know what I'm saying? So even as friends, we know that they're not gonna fall for that crap, you know?
Right.
We know who our friends. And with the energy you have, and with the energy I have, I know that anybody I'm choosing to befriend and to call a friend, that's not what they're going into the workforce. You know what I'm saying? That's not why they're gonna be wearing those uniforms out there. And that's what hurts. You know, my nephew right now, he's graduating. And July 1st, if this is not over, he's going into the street. And he graduated early. He's very, very young. He just turned 21, you know, and my little cousin is Puerto Rican.
Do you think 21-year-olds should go into the police department?
No.
Come on now.
This is what I'm saying.
How you're allowed to, all of a sudden you're allowed to smoke cigarettes and you can have the responsibility to save people's lives in the streets from criminals and rapists and
lyric.
What are they training you to do?
Yep. And dude, with all the stuff that policemen go through, you're not telling me that every year you guys shouldn't go through a psychological test?
Examination. Facts.
So let me get to my little introduction before we keep talking and going into all of this.
I thought this was the interview.
First things first, I have to thank you for giving me this opportunity. Okay, you're a force to be reckoned with. Your titles, I mean, again, I was like this, just going through all the titles from field producer, right, for shows like Black Love and Housewives of Jersey, to production coordinator for shows like Mob Wives, that I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. To showrunner for shows like State of the Culture. I mean, you're a woman, I don't want to say of many hats, because that's for men. You're a woman of many shoes. Yeah. You are doing it all out there. And I feel like as I watched you, as I followed you, there's a love, a passion that goes behind everything you do. You know, there's never, it's not something that's coming, it's definitely an idea that's developed. It's definitely an idea that you put the passion into it. So I was dying to sit with you and talk to you, like, where does this passion come from? I'm doing this show because, as I told you earlier, I feel like we all work as artists. We're all doing what we love, right? And in the midst of the IGs and getting work out there quicker and just keeping up with trends, and I feel like we're losing the real the passion. People are not showing what the passion behind their projects. They're not talking about the love that went behind this, because it has to be put out so quickly, or it has to be on to the next thing, or we have to. And I feel like I want to get back to the passion and the love of things as we create, as we make music, as we, you know, music is a second language, as we, you know, as you produce all these shows that move people at home, that keep people entertained, that keep people, you know, processing, because we go through things and then we want to come home and want to see this television, we want to see this TV show, because it takes us out of whatever element, you know, whatever we were doing earlier that maybe it didn't fit us, or I just want to get out of my head, or I just had a crazy argument. You know what, let me put State of the Culture and get into my, you know, my emotions. And I feel like we need to get back to that. So I want to get all emotional with you, and I truly want to learn where your passion comes from.
It's interesting that you say passion, because music, I'm very passionate about music. And I'm passionate about everything. I'm not just, you know, I'm passionate about everything. I'm not passionate. Like, sometimes I even have a certain tone and I speak a certain way. And sometimes I have like girlfriends that come from different places in life, and they're just like, okay, but can you, like, because they never heard a person speak. My shit is mad like this, but they think it's like, because I'll be like, cause da 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 da, and then, you know, like, but it's just because the conviction of what I'm saying, not that I'm angry or that I'm like, you know, but I get it. So I have a gentle voice, so I change it up. So I'm passionate about the way that I move. I'm passionate about intention. Who, what, when, why, how. I understand that everything that I do is an investment. And within that, I have to ask myself, well, what is the return? Now, let me be clear when I say that this does not mean that loving people requires a return. I think that when you love to love, and you love because you can and because you are. And so love comes out of you naturally. If you see an old woman in the street and you help her cross the street because there's a big fucking street and there's traffic, you know how New York City is, right? and she needs help to get across the street, you don't expect a return. Your return is, I was able to bless someone else. That's the return in that circumstance, right? But when you are investing in your life, when you are making choices to exchange with others in all ways, shapes, and forms, what is my return here? If I decide to turn on the television to consume something, what is the return here? I'll tell you, Mob Wives was the last show that I worked on with that type of content. Wow. And I said to the universe, I said, I do not want to work on something like that ever again. And then all of a sudden, I started working on animal shows and house shows and what not to wear, lifestyle shows. Yes. And, like all of these different shows that had nothing to do, like, and you said field producer on Housewives. I casted for that. So it was a very temporary, I wasn't on the seasons of that. That was just a casting gig that I had, that I helped cast. Like, so we were doing the reels with the women and interviewing the women and, having them talk and stuff like that. So that was also light work. And and I've had job opportunities where they're like, do you want to live in New Mexico? We'll give you like $1,500 a week as an AP, and, but you're in jails and we're doing this docuseries about jails. Hell fucking no. Hell fucking no. I'm good. I'm all the way good on that. Like, I don't like, so that I knew I didn't want to invest myself there. I knew I didn't want to consume that. The people that we choose in our life. So my steps in career I've been creating the content that goes into shows and working on productions, totally two different things. When I was able to add creative content to series, even though I still had to, I worked on Ink Master, for example. You have to create confrontational content. If there's challenges that are going on, we have to, it's like you're a therapist when you're dealing with your talent or contributors or what have you, whatever you want to call them, and you're producing them and you're talking to them and you're making them feel comfortable. And, they've never done TV before. This is new. This is real life shit. Like, documentary style television is different than scripted series. I've worked on those too, not a scripted series, but like scripted films and things like that, or commercials and things. And that's a very different feel because everybody's professional. We know what we got to do, but the pressure's on. Because you got to do it the way we need it to be done so we can get out of here when we say we're going to get out of here, so we don't have to keep going to somebody to ask them for more money, because we can't do that here. People can pull the plug. So there's a lot of stress in television and film. But what has always kept me being ill the way that I, competition or not, you fuck with me or not, I know how to do my job. There's a reason why I said, you might not fuck with me, but this person will fuck with me because they know I know my shit. So whether you're intimidated by that, that person knows that that's what it takes to get the job done. There's no crying in baseball, as we say.
Let's go.
So, you know what I mean? I'm on your team. We're not separate. We're in this together. I can't help people in their security levels of how they feel about themselves in career. But yeah, so my passion comes from, like, I'm self-sufficient. I want to be well. I want to do well. I want to experience the joys of life. I want to work on the best productions. I want to work on the best content. I want to be picky too. My interviews aren't them interviewing me. It's also me interviewing them. You know what I'm saying? Well, what's your rate? What's your budget? Well, what's your rate? So how organized is your production? Who's doing what role? Like, there's so much.
How organized is your production?
You know what I mean? Like, people respect that conversation. I mean, it takes a while to get there when you're
no, definitely
talk like that. But, like, you never want to be desperate for a job. That's something else that I learned. Like, in freelance, you want to pay your rent. So it's kind of like you might just take whatever you can take, man. Even in the pandemic, even in the Civil War, my rent is being paid, and, like, the blessings are here, and I do the work and things come to me with ease, and that's because I make it so, and I affirm that. So that's where my passion comes from. My passion comes from my little heart, my little soul, the way that I think.
I love that. What was your favorite part of producing? Which out of all the other hats you wear, which one do you love the most?
I enjoy casting, and you're still producing. I enjoy casting a lot. Casting is cool. Because of the creations, like the shows like Everyday Struggle and State of the Culture, I think storytelling, even in casting, like you create something called one sheets, where you're talking about, you're writing down about the person, you're explaining who this person is, you're writing in certain ways that can capture the network's attention. It's like marketing, you're selling an idea. You want to get these people cast. If not, you're going to keep fucking casting. They might,
gotta go through another 100 people.
Yeah, you got to get the yeses, and they make you fucking work. So, and there's all different kinds of shows that I've casted on. They all had their own challenges, all different crazy kinds of shows. But my favorite part of producing, I would say, is like telling the stories and also creating different narratives and different perspectives of something. I've had the enjoyment of doing that. Like, I'm not a challenge producer, so I'm not in a competition show making challenges, which could be fun. It's creative. I get to use my creative and trick them into making art with this, But like my shit is like, I got to be a part of, I got to create the topics of conversation with Joe Budden and Remy Ma and like Ebony and James and academics.
And the way those people take to you, the way those artists take to you, the way you put something out there like that. Because, I mean, let's be real. And people, you go to a show and these are artists that are on their own level. So they could tell you, I don't want to talk about that. And for you to put together put together a show that that everybody takes to, and topics that that they're going to take to, when you bring this to Nicki Minaj, she's going to be like, all right, you know me, you know what I like to talk about.
That's what I'm talking about by investment and the return. Do I want to work with Nicki Minaj? No.
That was a bad example. That's it. I'm throwing my notes away.
No, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, I mean, this is a great example of like, who do we want to be around?
Yeah, for real.
I would have to say, as a producer, you want to build rapport. I was just working on Basketball Wives for VH1 before this happened, right? And you'll see some of the producers will get hazed. They go through a hazing process sometimes. If the women don't know you, and they might test your gangster. You know what I'm saying? Like, who are you? Can I manipulate you? I want to get what I want. Like certain things that maybe somebody feels like they, you never know somebody's mental and how they be doing it. You want somebody to know they can trust you. You want somebody to know that and not that you're tricking them into thinking these things, but I genuinely have that. So I'm going to say shout out to Joe Budden. I will say this probably on every single interview that I have, because he is the one that set the tone for people. He has great fans. His fans are my fans too, because they know me, because they know they on him. He's mentioned my name.
You guys do.
A bunch of times in the past, you know what I'm saying? Or even he's done some lives with me now. Talking to me,
kicking with me on live. Talking about love.
Which also brings in new people who see a different side of me. And it's like good, because I do have that. I am a philosopher. I just had to accept that recently. It's like, I'm not here to be slaving on nobody's productions. I'm not here to be working for the man and doing AV. I'm a philosopher. I'm a healer, and I'm a philosopher. And that's really the essence of, in the core of everything that I ever want to do. That's how I want to retire. I'm a writer. I'm a poet. I love music. Music is 90% of my day. I listen to music all day. And so and I want to be successful at songwriting too, and get linked with the right people, and like continue my sometimes I meditate, and I get out on my meditation. I'm like, I need to get a piano. I need to get back to my old self. Like, I grew up in music. I grew up singing. I played the piano, all of these things
so beautiful.
And because men were sexually harassing me, and when I was in the industry and trying to make a name there, I'm not that person. I'm not a sex worker. Even in the pandemic, can I really do an OnlyFans? And even if it's my feet, do I really want to do an OnlyFans? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, but I have something else to offer. So I created a film school, Skip Film School. You know what I'm saying? Today. Like, I wanted to be able to add value to people who are looking at me. People are, and I apologize to whomever. I know this isn't a live, but like, I apologize to whomever. I needed to sit and process. Like, I feel like my work ethic, I could be creating a course every single day and putting it out. And I will get to that. But right now there's so much going on that like I have to process, and my life is changing as well, that I'm just taking the time for like mental health and putting my energy where it really needs, which is this movement that we're going through and dealing with. And myself, because I have to pour back into myself. It's like an hourglass. Okay, movement. Okay,
Yep.
this. Okay, that person. Okay, this person. Okay, now me. Okay. And it's like,
yep.
It's just, so I just have to make sure that I'm pouring where I need to pour and that I can do what I can. And again, that's passion, that's love, that's respect for people, that's understanding that I need a moment, that we all need a moment.
Okay. When it comes to Joe Budden and the love he has and he carries, what about his way of being and working, which you kind of said a little bit about that, has kept you working with him for so many years? Because you guys are like, anything he puts out, I'm like, yo, is lyric behind that? What's going on? This is so good.
I wish I was behind the pull-up, but I would say I've influenced him. Like, I remember when he first did the pull-up, it was like an episode where him and his friends were like sitting around his dining room table, eating waffles and shit, and like having random ass discussion. And I remember commenting or saying something like, it shouldn't be like this. Like, it should, like giving like a piece of advice. And then he took that advice and then he changed it a little bit and then completely changed it altogether. And I guess him and Ian came up with this idea that let's just do an interview series, because State of the Culture was supposed to kind of be an interview series.
Yeah.
But Joe is so smart because he's somebody that is trying to cheat the system. Why do I need Viacom? Why do I need Complex, Verizon, Hearst? Why do I even need Revolt? Revolt is a fairly like independently owned small media company. So if they're putting up the bread to do a show with him, they will. That's a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then he knows that he can create his own content and come out of pocket and do his own shit, and then put it on YouTube and like he's been doing the podcast for the love of it for many years, and then Spotify was like, hey, yo, after the Complex thing, because the podcast is good and it is, consistency makes for reliability, it makes for belief, it makes and good, and consistency when it's good, you know what I mean, or when it improves and gets better. So Joseph and
because it just gets better.
Joseph and I met at a very similar, we related out the gate. When I first met him, he was intimidating in the meeting, coming in. Sin was with him, people were intimidated by him. They let me know, like, I don't know how you're gonna talk to Joe. You're gonna be the one. Like, they let me know, like, you're gonna have his number and like you're gonna be his person. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, well, good luck with telling Joe, because I remember saying something. Well, I'll just remind him not to tap his mic. And they were like, good luck doing that. Like, good luck telling Joe don't tap his mic. And I was just like thinking to myself, like, but because I'm from the hood, and this is here's what helped me. Here's what helped me. I'm gonna say, because I talk to people from all walks of life, or because I have a backbone, I've been hired for those same fucking reasons. I've been asked on a lifestyle show. The lifestyle show, and then remind me to get back to my shit, but real quick, this is like the best interview I ever had to even be talking about all of these things. The lifestyle show that I was working on, it was like, we were filming a baby shower. It was like, this is the event. This is what we waited for. But in reality, production had to break that shit down. Y'all not really having a party. It looks like y'all are having a party. And yes. The girl invited her friend to DJ and her other friends thinking that they're really going to have a party, but it's really just for TV. And I don't know what the fucking disconnect was between the producers. Like, I was associate producer on that. So I don't know what the disconnect was with the field producers or the segment producers talking and setting these things up with the talent or what. But like, I remember the camera operator or somebody coming up to me talking about, can you talk to that guy over there? Like, he's really angry and like, you know, like he won't listen to me. And it was a black guy. And he was like, I don't know, he was just like, fuck out of here type shit. You know, that New York shit. We was in Brooklyn too. So I was like, I got you. I was like,
it was definitely the fuck out of here then.
Yeah, it was that type of energy. So like, so I was like, and how did he know to come to me? Whatever, I don't know. So I was like, yeah, I got you. So I go to the guy, talk to the guy. The guy's cool with me, and it's like, all right, like, okay, I understand. So I've been, or Ink Master, like you're around these tough, supposedly, okay, we're gonna hire her. She can handle that. I've had people on Ink Master say, I don't want that producer, I want her. You know what I mean? I've had that. I've experienced that. You know what I'm saying? So Joe, right? So again, relatable. He's coming to Complex for the first time. I'm coming to Complex for the first time. Everybody else has been in that corporate setting. I'm a freelancer. And Verizon and Hearst just bought them. So they needed to hire real producers to make a show of this caliber to whatever they had going on in their minds. Mm-hmm. And so he was intimidating, but really liked an idea I had. And I was like, okay. He was like, I like that idea. Like, he was herbing the other dude, which was the producer who was intimidated by me. And this is why this all happened.
And that was naturally, he felt that.
Yeah. Like, nice. You had a fan, a kid at Complex, fanning out over Joe. And Joe's like, Joe hates that shit. And
you could tell from his persona.
The guy was like, oh, like, you could do a theme song. And like, Joe's like, no, I'm not going to do a theme song. And then I was like, well, I have an idea. And he goes, what's your idea? And I was like, what if we were to do like a segment that had like guess that lyric or whatever, and like not guess that lyric, where you're breaking down lyrics of some sort and breaking down the bars and shit. And he was like, I like that idea. And so boom, now I got him. I had him as soon. Oh, first of all, this is how it happened. I'm sorry. Let me tell you. Because my memory. You know? He goes. Before he even gets introduced to me, he sits there and he's like, what happened to that? Because he's already mad at Complex, because I think they've been having this conversation about doing a show for a while. And he's like, what happened to the producer that worked on CNN or whatever, like that they told him that they was going to hook him up with. And then the guy goes, well, he has to be on a different show, but this is lyric, introduce yourself. Like my supervisor had no fucking backbone either, like the way that he would even talk and shit. Sorry. Should I say that? Sorry, that's a personal thing. But it's just a memory. It's me commenting on my memory. So I was like, hi, I'm Lyric. Nice to meet you. I've been producing for a while, working on shows like Mob Wives, this, that, and the other. And I'm a huge fan of your podcast, and I'm looking forward to making content with you. And after I said that, his whole guard was down. And then that conversation started happening. And then I made my comment and he liked it. And so that was already like, all right, he's like, okay, I could fuck with her. Like, I like her. Like, she's not intimidated by me. She, and that's why people do that. They do that because they want to, like, people don't know street shit. Like, if a bully could herb you, then they'll do whatever they can to do whatever else. But if you stand up to a bully and you're like, I'm not afraid of you, even in movies you see that. They're like, oh, okay, you got my respect. Well, sometimes you got to kick the bully ass, whatever it is. It's like, you got to stand
Or sometimes they want to just be spoken to like human beings. They don't want to feel that you feel intimidated because you can't. Yeah, exactly. You can't work with somebody like that. You're going to yes me to death.
Respect. Right.
You're going to yes me to death. You're going to do everything I say to do. No, I need somebody that's going to tell me no. I need somebody that's going to produce, control.
That's exactly what he's looking for. Not that he's a bully, because he's not. Like he just tells it like it is. If you don't have thick skin, you cannot work with Joe. Anytime that I interviewed anybody, like a writer or something, I'm like, look, he's gonna clown you. He might, because especially if the writer is white, I have to let them know, like, I'll go over your script with you when I can, but because I would fly, sometimes I have to do it on the spot. So if it looks a certain way, or if something goes over my head and Joe reads it and it sounds stupid, you're going to be made fun of, because Joe might be having a day, or he might be having a mood. And that's just the reality of working in television. Like you said, like, what if this person talks to you like this? Or, like Joe and I have built enough respect for each other, but at the same time, you can't take shit personally. Like if he's going through something and that's how he deals with his shit, that's how he deals. I don't have to be involved or take things personally. Like, you know, I always made sure that, like, even though he's a friend to me, like, I love him, I always made sure that I kept the level of respect and professionalism as well as his producer. You know, what kept me working with him is our bond, the bond that we created together, me, him, and his manager, and their belief in me. Like Joe told me to my face, you know, when I did move out here, I moved out to LA, and he was like, yo, can you work as a local? You know what I'm saying? That was like a dilemma for me, because I'm like, damn, like, you know, that's me cutting my own paycheck. But for the opportunity and the experience and the love I have for Joe and his content, I want to see him win. That's family. I cut off every other opportunity I had here to like, I was it was like I was talking to Billboard Variety magazine to be a news producer for them, and it's a corporate job, and it's a, you know, stable in Los Angeles or whatever. And like, I had Ian telling me, like, Lyric, we need you to say, even say that, talk like that, and say something like that, and the belief they have in me, you know what I mean, and my work ethic and my creative ability, and my, you know, they're family to me.
And it's going back to that passion and love, and you know what I'm saying? And you
all
guys
intention.
are working through that. Exactly.
All intention. All intention. Like,
yep.
like he's grown, and I let Joe know that, like, you've grown so much, and it's so beautiful to see how amazing you are. Because Joe went from not wanting to interview anybody to being real selective and making incredible interviews. You know, he's such a down-to-earth person who does think about his emotions. Like, you know, like, don't get it twisted. Like, just because he's had a troubled past doesn't mean that he doesn't reassess his traumas and his experiences and has overcome that. That's still dealing with that and overcoming it now. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of person I am too. So I don't judge. Like, if I'm judgmental or I'm whatever, I can't work with people with a certain reputation or whatever. Don't get me wrong, I always make sure, like, I lend it advice. If he says something to somebody and it hurts somebody's feelings, I'll be like, Joe, you might have to apologize. Like, that's not nice. Like, that hurt her. You said that in front of everybody. And, like, however Joe feels, Joe gonna say. And I don't mind that. I'm not mad. As long as you're not, like, tearing somebody inside out and abusing them. You know what I mean? Like, you can say how you feel. Like, if you have an idea or an opinion that somebody did a certain job a certain kind of way, and you want to say that, then okay, I see that. You know what I mean? As long as you're not pulling them apart as a person, you know, like.
And I think that's why his fans love him, for exactly what you said. You know what I'm saying?
He's real.
We know what he went through. We see what he went through. He's still who he is. The realness that comes out of his mouth. It's like, how can you not like a person like that? How can you not like a person? Like, how can you not like content like that? You know, that's
probably why his fans are good people, because, like, if you listen to his podcast and you really hear him and, like, whatever, you, like, it's a very rational, he's a rational thinker. So if you're a rational thinker, you automatically like him for rationally thinking or agreeing with your comment. Like, oh, like, it's like the popular, unpopular opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. And his voice, something about his voice sounds really rational. Like, just the tone of his voice makes you feel like, okay, this might be being solved right now.
I know all of his, like, his, like, body language gestures and stuff. It's like, I miss working with him. I love working with Joe so much. Like, honestly, you know, I'm here now full time trying different things, and, like, I even had a conversation with Quibi, but, you know, over the period of this whole thing and stuff like that. So it's like, I want to expand I'm always like that as a freelancer. You keep expanding.
That's right.
But I mean, even if I can pull him into something else, I would, if he has the capacity and I can be like, yo, Joe, you want to do another show like this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, trust me, I'm open to the, you know, that's, again, you got to manifest, you got to visualize.
That's right.
I don't think he wants to come out here though. I think he's comfortable with what he's doing. So
now with Skip Film School, because you ran through, I asked you one question, you ran through everything that I had in my notes. So I'm like, I got to touch base. I got to go back. So now I'm a teacher. So I love the fact that you put that out there, that you would want to teach. There's so many crash courses that we can take. There's so many, and people are really not taking to things like that. So was that the reason why you wanted to do that, or where did that come from?
I'm a writer. I write a lot. I could write more. I could be more dedicated to my writing. But I write books. Like I have a poetry book that I published. I wanted to write a textbook about like a film school book. And I named it Skip Film School, Read This. But by the time it was gonna take me to do this freaking book, I'm like, girl, like something came over me and I was thinking one day, why don't I do like why don't I sell like lessons, courses? I can teach people walkie lingo. I can teach them how to like, unpack a walkie. I could teach, I have like all these old call sheets. I can teach people what being an associate producer is. Like people pick my brain or people consult with me and I schedule phone calls with people and things like that, but it's like, how can I be of value to people and monetize at the same time? And even still, like I have most of my shit up for free right now because we were just going through COVID. Like right now is the time where I do want money. So like I'll put, like, you can download the lesson or you can download the templates of the treatments, the music video treatments, or whatever, and for $15, like trying to take it easy on people. I'm gonna up the price in a second because I know people are getting back to work. So I just want to make sure that I'm reminding myself to make sure that I'm making some money, some profit right now too. But and the more courses I create, the more that'll happen too. So I'm excited to create more courses. It's a lot of work for sure. Like I have to create newsletters and like, and when I'm processing for my mental health, I'm like, or social media, like I want to post on my social media or whatever. And then sometimes it's these days for me. So I definitely need a team to help me make this school thrive. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to keep succeeding, but again, consistency. I have to make sure that I keep, I keep enhancing it in any way that I can. And sometimes I have a thing where I don't want to be on video. I feel like I don't really want to get, like, do I want to, like, I'm in my house all day and I kind of look like this. I just worked out in my crib, or I just, I have great marketing ideas. I have know-how. I'm a professional. So I know what I need to do to make some shit pop off, if that makes sense. I give people advice on what to do to make their shit pop off. You know what I mean? So, but again, if it's just me by myself, it is a lot of work,
Yeah, of course.
But I've definitely started somewhere, and I'm happy that I did the work and I put up the website and I did it myself. And I pay for it every month, and you know what I'm saying? Like I'm putting into it to make it available for you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to add value to people because I've seen people on set, they have no idea what they're doing. They don't know like the know-how or how to even the proper set etiquette. They think that as a production assistant, it's cool to sit in a director's chair while while an executive producer is standing up working. Like I was taught, you don't sit down ever. So in my lesson to how to advance, I have a lesson out right now there's a part 2 to it, and it's a how to advance as a PA. How to be an amazing PA and advance quickly. That's what it is, because you don't want to stay as a PA. So I go into different departments and different positions, and I put people on into I free game.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And that just goes again to show the love behind everything you do. Because if it wasn't for the love that you had, you would be trying to scavenge. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to get off for everybody. Trying to get exactly what you said before. You're going to try to get to every opportunity, every job. And that's, again,
that's opportunity. That's opportunistic shit. That's pretentious people do things like that. Where can I get in? How am I gonna look cool? Can I look cool here? Can I look cool there? Here a cool, there a cool, everywhere clout. I like that's another reason why I like what's happening right now.
Yeah, I can't with you.
Ain't no club open, ain't no events popping, ain't no festivals to go to.
Exactly.
Ain't no outfits to go shop to buy. Like, let's see what you really look like, shorty.
Yep, so true. Oh my goodness.
That's your authentic self.
I want to go through the thing. I want to hug you.
Well, when you're in LA, let me know. Let's go.
Oh, definitely. Right before this, I was going to start making it like a regular thing to go out, see Laura.
I love your New York, Puerto Rican accent.
Thank you. I never noticed it.
I know, but I noticed it even more than mine. Like, it's so interesting how we speak. Like, we have a little bit of Italian in our shit. Did you ever notice that?
Yes.
You did? Because I didn't
I have
until
an
I moved
Italian
here.
friend and she loves it. She's like,
oh, you mullion, or like, forget about it. And so let me
bathroom.
tell you, like, I'm gonna tell you, but then it's like also like the Spanish speaking comments, like through. But let me tell you what I went through. So it's like Italian and Puerto Rican, but also New York.
Yes.
And like, so even like me, like people will say, you sound like you're from the South. And I grew up with predominantly Black people, right? And so I'm like, it's interesting because I remember dating somebody when I was like 15 and his parents was from the South and she would talk to me. So I picked up her shit too. Like, you finna cry? You know, she'd be like, you finna cry? So ever since then, I say finna all the time, or like, you know, certain things.
Yo, something so funny with finna. I really had to learn how to use that. I would ask my man, like, but he's like, you know, like, we're about to
what
do
you
something.
Finna do? Yeah, what you finna do?
So that's the way he taught it to me.
Uh-huh.
Bro, how am I learning slang? Like, what's that about?
Finna cry? What you,
like,
we finna
you finna eat?
Yeah, we finna eat, yeah. But we finna get dressed and go to this movie, though. That's how.
So I had to learn it, girl, because I was using it in all the wrong ways. And they were like,
what?
No, that is not where you put that in there.
I love it. This is great.
So, okay, before we come to a closing, and I mean, oh my God, I don't want to leave. I want to go over there to your house and chill.
How long have we been going for?
An hour and 18 minutes.
Wow. See, I told you, you was like 30 minutes. I'm like, good luck.
No, but you know, I'm going to be real with you, Lyric. I said that because to not impose. You know what I'm saying?
It's okay. You don't have to say that. You don't have to say that. That sounds rushed. At 45 minutes to an hour of your time is a professional conversation interview.
Thank you. Because I always feel like, you know, and I have to put value to it. Like, you know, if they don't want to sit for the 45 minutes, then maybe you shouldn't waste your time on them. That's the way I should start thinking, you know? And girl, I have to say this. Or just know
that 45 to an hour is good.
About your energy, everything. The way you speak about yourself, the way you like, you brought yourself to a level and you're not afraid to speak on that, to speak with that knowledge.
I know my
to say I did that.
Right.
Exactly.
I know my intentions are
well. But even with that, because I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be real with you. I'm a person that my intentions are always in the right places. And I hesitate to be that person for myself. So seeing that in you, sitting here, hearing you talk, oh my God, such an enlightenment.
Let me tell you, I was just having therapy with my girlfriend all morning. And like we were just talking to each other, and like I explained that, and I reflected, and I was like, it's because of the way that I grew up. I had a lot of freedom, and I had to make a lot of choices on my own at an early age. And so a lot of those choices, you know, led me to reading a lot and to understanding my own shit and understanding how to navigate. And it took me till 33 to really figure a lot out, as far as like relationships are everything. And in psychopathy, understanding psychopathy helped bring me to a better place, so I know how I'm moving and why I'm moving the certain way that I'm moving, because I'm empathic. So I attract that shit. I attract people who don't have empathy. I have all the empathy. They don't. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I really had to, even people who do have empathy and you get involved with them, and like they might feel, you know, they might be in a place where they might be using you, not really realizing they're really abusing you in a way that they're not trying to, but like they keep, you know, they want your love, they want your time, but they, you know, they might not be moving a certain way that there's no return on the investment there sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like we got to make sure that we keep our energetic boundaries, and that I can love you, but let's love each other in healthy ways and make sure that there's boundaries there. And, you know, intentions are important.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. So, okay. So with that said, I want to ask, what are rules and conditions you can give to loving yourself better?
That's the thing.
For that self-love.
There are no rules and conditions to love.
Ooh.
You know, and I think that's the misconception. What are the rules and conditions to loving yourself well? You got to take your foot off the fucking gas. You got to let go. You got to stop judging yourself. You got to stop judging other people. At the highest degree of understanding is what love is. You know, if I can understand myself, if I can understand you, even if you're batshit crazy and out of your mind and I don't like how you believe, how you think, you know, I can still feel love for you as a human being, as a spirit here journeying through life. And, you know, whether or not I want to be around you is up to me. That's the beautiful thing about being a human being, is that we don't have to stay in one place. We don't have control over our circumstances. You know, we're the microcosm of the macrocosm, but we are still a microcosm, and we can create our own energy spaces however we choose, and whatever choices we make, whether long term or not. Like, we might feel like now is forever, but it's not. Everything changed. Your relationship with your mom might change like 10 fucking times. It's not just one way, because we're not just one way. Typically, we can potentially be evolving beings if we so choose. That's always been my choice. My mom never told me you have to do this. The programming, I had conditioning, I had programming from the culture, but not from people telling me that I had to. I always had that choice. I always had a choice. So knowing that is what allows me to let go and love myself more. Does it have to be this way? Do I have to feel like this? Let me pick up a book. I stay on books. I tell people that all the time. I bought this one in 2013. This is the Voice of Knowledge, which talks about the lies that we tell ourselves and like how not to. And it talks about the serpent and Adam and Eve and the deceit and the shit we tell ourselves. Manifest Now. I got this in 2018, and that shit really held me down and changed my whole mindset and affirming things differently, and like taking it easy on myself, because pride does nothing for you. If I can find peace, if I can be unconditionally happy because I choose to be unconditionally happy, because even when I'm sad, I can talk myself out of being sad. I can feel this sadness for the moment, let it out, get it out, but now let me tell myself that all is well and it's okay, and we don't need to be that way. We don't need to stay sad, because the world needs us as well as we. And I was just tweeting this about the light. People might, it's like an umbrella. It's like you have an umbrella and it's raining and somebody want to get under your umbrella, right? But if they take your shit, you don't have no, you getting rained wet, on, or you getting rained on. So it's like, I can still get half wet and still be dry, and I'm all right, but you can't take my whole umbrella away from me. So, and the only way you can do that is if I allow you to do that, because it's my umbrella. So if I take my umbrella back and I make sure I restore, okay, great. Now let me dry off real quick, completely. And let my light shine brighter, because I need it back, so I can keep being happy, so I can keep loving myself, so I can keep remembering that I don't have to hold on to what I did for you or with you or to you or what you did to me, like, or whatever. Like, I can move on because I have this light, and I can continue that tomorrow's a new day, or next minute is a new minute. And I don't have time to waste thinking about what just happened.
So beautiful.
If I can make it change in my mind, right, that's self-love. I don't want to feel bad. I want to feel good. How can I make myself feel good? What choices do I need to make myself feel good? What kind of discipline comes with self-love? Because there's a lot of it. You got to be loyal to yourself. You can't be loyal to nobody else if you're not loyal to yourself. Why you keep lying to yourself? Know when you're lying to yourself. Know when you need to tell yourself the truth. Know when to get out of your pride. Know that you don't have to be proud when you know that you're a light. That's what it feels like. It's like I don't even need to be in my ego, because I understand that, you know, I'm happy with me. I'm happy here. So if I'm happy here, I already know that I'm attractive. If that makes sense. You can't take my energy from me. You can't steal me. I feel like what's happening now is this is the time. This is the year. This is the time. We're in this information age that we're in, the state of this age of consciousness that we've been hearing about so much and so long. This is it. This is the 2020 vision place that we've needed to be. Numerically, astrologically, like, you know, the universe has its own numerical code. You know what I'm saying? Its own conversation, its own language, and we don't all know what that is because we're tapped out, because we're distracted, because we're traumatized, because we're too busy doing stupid shit, being superficial, thinking that this is what really life is just this right here.
Yeah.
And I pay attention to the language. I sit with my thoughts all day. I barely turn on the TV. It's like therapy all day for me, all day, all night, all day, all night, all the time. And it's, you know what I mean? Like, honestly. And I have to spend like 80%, or I'd say 75% of my day making sure I'm processing things properly. Sometimes I'll stay up, you know, and maybe get 4 hours of sleep just so that way I can experience life and process things properly.
Yep. I'm so
because you know what
always
I mean?
In my thoughts. Always,
but I don't
always.
I was just telling my girlfriend today, I don't overthink. I rationally process what I'm feeling and why I'm feeling this way. Because when you overthink, you can assume and tell yourself stories like, I'm overthinking that. Like I'm thinking, does this mean this? Does that mean that? Wait, but if this means, and it's a lot of like misperceptions, assumptions, and fears, really, when you're overthinking.
Totally, yeah.
So then it's not really a healthy thought, as opposed to like reflecting and processing your emotions and understanding how you feel and why you feel that way. Because there's so many things that we forget about, and there's so many things that can take us away from paying attention to ourselves and the way that our body even feels, that we can miss the mark. And if you miss the mark too much, you're just in an unhealthy tizzy, and you really just want to avoid that. New York brought about a lot of suffering for me, a lot of freedom, a lot of growth, but I just had to get out. It was time that, my journey needed to be here. My life is going to end on the west side.
I love that.
So I'm sure of it.
I love it.
But the nature is so, it's a different kind of lifestyle that I would never have if I was in New York to experience here, or meet the certain kind of people that I meet that are here. There's a certain kind of quality of people.
Wow. I'm like, I just want to sit here and stare at you now.
So romantic. What are you, a water sign? Are you? Yo, water signs be romantic as fuck. I like y'all. Y'all be making me fall in love a little bit. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like,
I'm like,
when's your birthday?
July 7th.
Okay, Cancer. All right.
Yep.
Okay, oh, my birthday is May 9th, the past.
Man, that's right. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
I wanted to tell you that. So I have it in my notes here.
I love that you take notes. That's good.
Yeah, and I saw you say something about that. I was watching one of your many YouTubes. I don't know where it was, but I saw you say, like, you got to get things down. You got to write things down. And honestly, I just started getting into that.
Good.
I used to do interviews and I'll be like, no, I like it off the top of my head because, I like to have just conversations. I just want to be natural with it. But sometimes you got to write it out, like, in order. There has to be a guide.
You want to at least start out that way.
Yes.
Unless you really know the person and you're passionate about them, you don't really need to take notes. But it shows yourself, not just other people. I could have known, or I couldn't have known, right? But it shows like how much you care about your work and like the craft and that you put into it, the passion that you put into it. And it's really important. And that's the type of content that people care about, because you've already put the pre-thought into. Yes. You have to, in order to manifest something great, you have to imagine it first. You have to visualize it first. We make impactful content.
Okay.
It's up to you. I want to see you win in everything that you do.
Oh, thank you. So Lyric, I thank you. I mean, we could talk for hours.
I know. This was definitely like a conversational interview more than anything.
And I loved it. And again, I thank you. A woman of your caliber, I just gotta come correct. Ain't no bullshit.
I'm supremely honored to hear you even talk about me like that. Like, I never heard anybody talk about me like this before. It's very humbling. I feel so flattered.
Oh my God, so you're doing something amazing out there, girl. Keep pushing, because it's making me want to do so much more.
Really? Well, look, you have my number. If you ever have a question, or you ever want to, create together, or you have any, whatever.
Thank you so much.
You got my line. So
blessings. Always beautiful.
Yes.
Stay blessed.
Thank you, babe. You too. All right.
Bye, baby.
Bye.